There are moments when something seems to be trying to get your attention. Not loud, not overwhelming, but present enough that you notice it. And most of the time, we move right past it. We're used to noise, constant input, opinions, notifications, expectations. So we don't always recognize when something deeper is happening. In 1 Samuel 3, Samuel hears his name being called in the night. He gets up and goes to Eli. Here I am. You called me? But Eli says, I didn't call you. This happens again and again until finally Eli realizes what's happening. He tells Samuel, if you hear it again, say, speak, Lord, your servant is listening. And when Samuel responds, he begins to recognize the voice of God. God was already speaking. Samuel just didn't recognize it yet. And I think that's where many of us are. Not that God is distant, but that we are not always paying attention. And this is what it means to grow in your spiritual life with God. Learning to recognize his voice, not through noise, but through attention. Because listening requires something from us: space, stillness, a willingness to pause. And that runs against how we often live. We're trained to stay busy, to keep producing, to keep moving. But the life we're invited into begins differently. It begins with staying connected. And from that connection, we learn to listen. Not for something dramatic, not even for a loud voice, but for the ways God is already speaking, through his word, through conviction, through moments that stay with us. And you begin to notice it. A line of scripture that lingers, a prompting that you just can't ignore, a sense of direction that becomes clearer. You start to recognize that you are actually being led. So here's a simple step for this week. Set aside 3 minutes each day. Sit and pray. Speak, Lord, I'm listening. No pressure to hear something dramatic. Just make space and then pay attention. And don't do this alone. Ask someone, what do you sense God might be teaching you right now? And when they answer, listen. Not to respond, but to understand. Because this is how we grow. Not just by gathering more information, but by learning to recognize his voice. So wherever you're starting, slow down. Make space. Stay with the rhythm and see what God begins to form in you.